Hey, folks, good morning and welcome to another episode of Steelers Morning Rush. I'm Alan Saunders. It is Thursday, November 6th. The Pittsburgh Steelers will have their second practice of Week 10 at UPMC Rooney Sports Complex on the South Side. Today, myself, Brendan Howe, Ed Thompson, all there gathering info from Steelers practice. And we're also going to talk to coordinators Terrell Austin and Arthur Smith today as well. More on all of that on the afternoon drive right here on the YouTube channel and in your audio feed, 6 p.m. or actually a little bit later this week, probably. Steelers the West Coast opponent. Forgot about that yesterday. Will be a little bit later. So probably around 7 p.m., I would guess, in your audio feeds and YouTube platforms, me and Zachary Smith on the afternoon drive. This morning, I have to give credit to my colleague Mike Pursuit of WDVE for the idea for this column or podcast, whatever you want to call it. Mike and I were walking in yesterday, and I was complaining about how people didn't seem to understand what the Steelers have been doing at the deadline and why they were not gung-ho about trading away draft picks for a rental wide receiver, and how the big picture has been obvious to what I think people who have been paying attention for a long time now, but apparently a lot of people still didn't get it. And Mike made a very good point, and it clicked some things in my head for me that not only were those people not paying attention about the big picture plan that to me has been obvious since Omar Khan tipped his hand about the comp pick strategy way back in March. They also all wanted to fire the coach as of Sunday morning at noon before the Steelers beat the Colts. And it clicked back to the comment that Aaron Rodgers made about after the Steelers lost to the Cincinnati Bengals. And he said, I'm not going to ride the roller coaster. And I know that Mike Tomlin isn't either. The Steelers have been on a bit of a roller coaster through this season so far. They lost a game they certainly should have won against the Bengals on Thursday Night Football. They lost a game against a good team that was not close against the Packers on Sunday Night Football. And then they went and they beat one of the best teams in the league, the Indianapolis Colts, convincingly at home on Sunday. And it is funny that the entire mood of the franchise was fan base was wanting to fire the coach this week. And now we've gone from that to being upset that the team did not push all its chips in at the trade deadline. This goes back to another thing I've been saying all offseason. This is not that good of a team. Like, they're going to get somewhere. They're going to probably get to a playoff game. I think they should win the division. And I think if they win the division, they'll win a playoff game. But they're not a Super Bowl contender. Like, this is not the team to be pushing all. And you all know that because y'all wanted to fire the coach 4 days ago. The roller coaster is the actual thing that I think has been bothering me, and it stands out to me that Aaron Rodgers talked about that. I asked a couple people in the locker room this week about that roller coaster, and I came to this idea because the Steelers team was very much thrown together this offseason in terms of you have a lot of important pieces that did not play together before. You bring in Aaron Rodgers, you bring in DK Metcalf, you bring in Jalen Ramsey. These are not just good players, but they're experienced pros with large personalities. And one of the unanswered questions of this offseason was, how were all these guys going to work together? Were they going to come together as a team? And of course, everybody said good things in training camp. And I'll be honest, I think I bought into those good things. It sounded like it matched what I was seeing, and you do this job long enough, you get pretty good at sniffing out the BS. But, and I'm pretty sure I said this at the time, Smitty and I have talked about this, it's very easy for everyone to get along in training camp. You don't lose any games in training camp. Those relationships will be tested through the adversity of a season. And so now that they're through it a little bit, you never really want to ask people about the adversity they're currently in and ask how you're handling it because, well, you don't know if you're going to handle it, right? It's hard to question to answer. But now on the other side of it, I asked a couple of people, well, How was it? Did it go as well as you thought? And I didn't get much of an answer out of anybody I talked to. Everybody just kind of said, "Hey, we won, right? We did it. We figured it out. We beat the Colts. That's behind us now." But I think if you go back to the way things happened on Sunday and apparently Saturday night about Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith standing up and talking to the team, I do think there is a lot of evidence that the character of this team has not only withstood its first real test, but kind of come out on the other side of it, maybe stronger than it was before. I don't know if Jalen Ramsey would have had the passion, desire, the need in his heart to go address the team if they don't lose those two games. Aaron Rodgers says, "I don't want to ride the roller coaster." The whole physics of a roller coaster is you go up to come back down, but there are reactions to these things. Sometimes over the course of a season, the roller coaster is good. If you got all the way to the end of the season with no struggle, no drama, no strife, and then the first time your team faces those things is at the critical points of the season or in the playoffs, and then you fall apart, you have no way to fix it. You have one strike loss. But over the course of the season, when you go through things like this, you get the opportunity to grow. So, like, I appreciate Aaron Rodgers' point that he wants to stay sort of emotionally, uh, you know, eye on the big picture. I actually think there's positives to the culture of a team that is able to go through a bad stretch and come out on the other side of it. I wonder if the same is the fan base, because it seems like having gotten riled up, everyone just wants to stay riled up now. And really, yeah, well, you all can do whichever you want to do, but that doesn't make sense to the rest of us. I just thought that was an interesting point that Mike made, and it connected that to that Rodgers comment and these conversations I've been having in the locker room this week. And so I wanted to tie that all together for you, that it is sort of ironic that we went from talking about firing the coach to being mad that they didn't go all in at the trade deadline in record. And those are really the farthest opposite you can get in the course of a season in record time. And maybe let's just have some perspective on the way this is going and see where this team takes us the rest of the way. All right, that's all I got for this morning. More on the afternoon drive, me and Smitty. Like I said, probably closer to 7 today. Hopefully I'll be able to get out of there without having to record in the dark, but we'll do what we can. And also apologize for Smitty's AV issues yesterday. We've been getting beat up by the technology here lately, but we'll get through it and we'll figure it out, and we'll find a way, as we always do. We will not ride the roller coaster as a podcast either. All right, that's all I got for this morning. Until next time, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.